Today's guest went from having it all to losing all of it, and we got to find out what happened after that. What's up, FlowChat fam? Hey, Chris here, CEO and co-founder of FlowChat, talking to real entrepreneurs that are getting real results, and today's no exception. Today's guest was at the top of his game. But when he was at the top, there was still some massive holes, some massive problems that were going on. Unfortunately, they took over and it went to a screeching halt. He hit rock bottom. Maybe you can relate to some of that. Now, the question is, some people never make it back, but today's guest did. He had to rebuild step by step, and we're going to get to hear how not only he did that spiritually, mentally, emotionally, but also on the business side. He's going to take us behind the scenes on the processes. So if you felt stuck with some of building your business, right? We're coming into a new year at the time of this recording, and you're looking for new ways to break through. Today, look no further. Today's guest is going to bring some of those breakthroughs for you on what worked for him. So with that being said, Clint, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Chris, thank you so much. That was a hell of an intro, brother. Like, I'm going to tell you, that was the best intro I've heard on a podcast.
Man, hey, I appreciate the kind words. I do these on the spot because I listen and then compile it, and then we get to all discover what comes out of me. So thank you for the kind words, man. Hey, now this said, here's what normally this is what I do. I'm like, all right, let's go tactic, let's go strategy. What got you through all the thing? And then we get to know the person. But I know this audience and I know what they want. And so anyone listening, watching, you came to the right place. You're going to get some great stuff today. What I would like to start with is what did the top mean for you? And then we're going to get into like why that started to go down, and then how you built back step by step. And because that's the piece where I know it's going to unlock some more breakthrough for people. So where it started when you were at the top, what did being at the top mean to you?
Yeah. So for me, when I got into entrepreneurship, I was an online fitness coach. We work with high-level CEOs and executives. And for me, it was like, I want to make $1 million.
Yeah.
That was the top. Like, I wanted to make that $1 million mark. I thought it was going to be the coolest thing. I thought I was going to be fulfilled mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I thought I was going to feel on top of the world. So I hit $500,000 my first year. Congrats. And I was empty.
Nice. Yeah.
Right. I was completely empty. I was making close to, sometimes $70,000 a month. I was training people. I had amazing transformations. I was flying on the private jets, going to all the masterminds, talking to all the different coaches, and it was great. But then when I look back at it, I was so mentally drained. I was working 18-hour days for a whole year straight, no purpose behind anything that I was doing.
That'll catch up. Yeah.
And when I realized it, I lost everything. Right? When I woke up May 1st in my bed, and I said, I can't remember anything. I went to get on a client call. I totally forgot what they said. I forgot who I booked a call with. It's like my brain completely shut off. And I've never felt that feeling in my life.
Would you describe that as burnout?
100%. Burnout, brain fog, mental illness, depression, anxiety. Like, I would wake up and I would be like, oh my God, what am I going to do today? I can't remember anything. I don't know what my client said. Like, I would be thinking about all these things, and I would just have all this anxiety in my life. And then I also wouldn't be able to wake up on time because I was so tired from the depression that I was going through.
Got it. So burnout, anyone listening, watching this, if you haven't experienced burnout, congratulations. Unfortunately, I have been down that road, found myself in a hospital, ulcers, all the things. Like, it's kind of a thing. It's real. So but it sounds like you didn't fully notice that. You're just starting to see some of the symptoms. How long were you in that zone before you started making changes, or you didn't, and then it kind of fell apart? Tell us about that piece.
It took me about 3 months. Muscularity was changing. I would eat certain foods, but I was gaining weight. I would start to gain weight around my sides, which wasn't normal. Like, I was in really good shape, and I started to look at myself, and I was like losing the skin color and my eye color, right? So I have really blue eyes. And what happened was my eyes were gray. And when my eyes were turning gray, my skin color was turning different colors too. And I was like, what is going on with my
that would freak me out.
Yeah. So I had to go to Texas to go to a doctor so I can get muscle testing done. And then when I got muscle testing done, it was a parasitic infection. That's what they thought it was, right? So a parasitic infection. Dude, I went and did coffee enemas. I had to shove a tube up my butt in the shower. Like, I was doing the craziest things. I had castor oil on my back with a heating pad for an hour a day. Because at that point, you're just trying to get through whatever you can get through to feel better. Like,
Yeah.
you'll do whatever it takes.
Dude, well, thanks for dropping some of like actually what was happening.
Yeah.
That's really intense. And there's one thing we kind of skipped over that I want the audience to catch. You said you were in really good shape. I don't think most people will know how good of shape you were in, because you were like number one in which category?
Classic physique bodybuilding.
He's a bodybuilder. Like,
Yeah.
he was in like optimal, like it's not like, yeah, no, I go to the gym, I lift some weights. It's like, no, like I'm the best at lifting weights and looking awesome, type of in shape. So I just wanted people to catch that. How long did you do, or have you done bodybuilding?
It was about 5 years at that time. Competed
Okay.
in 4 different competitions. Won the Sean Ray Classic in 2017.
It's incredible, man. Like, I recently saw Arnold on Netflix.
Yeah.
I've like played sports, martial arts, like always been active, in life, and competed on American Ninja Warrior. But like, I've never been immersed in the subculture of bodybuilding. And I was
You just passed by, competed in American Ninja Warrior?
yes, yeah, the TV
Dude,
show.
that's awesome.
It was fun.
There's like 60 million people that watch that TV show.
Yeah, I was in season 3, 4, and 6.
Dude, that's amazing. Did you win?
I absolutely did not. You go through multiple stages, and then when you get to the finals, there's four stages that you're doing, and then you got to climb a 75-foot rope in under 30 seconds. And dude,
Wow.
it took years before anyone ever completed all of that. And the people that had rock climbed their entire life for like 8+ years are the ones that finally made it towards those stages and beat it. And dude, I'm not a climber. I started a little bit when I was like on the show, because it's like, if you're gonna compete, like you got to do some of it. But no, I definitely didn't win, but met some awesome people. Did the salmon ladder, the warp wall, and like a lot of the obstacles you see, and it was a cool part of life. But every little like activity has its own subculture, and like bodybuilding is one that I recently like learned a lot more of, just through not personally, but through the Netflix thing that they did with Arnold. And I was like, y'all are crazy, man. Bodybuilding is intense. What was your body fat at?
It's the most selfish sport you'll ever do. Yeah, I was at 4% when I was on stage. I remember I was dehydrated for 24 hours. I was eating muffins and ice cubes because I couldn't drink any water, because you can't have any water in your system because you're going to be washed out. So
holy cow, dude, that's crazy.
Your body into such a crazy deficit, right? It's not healthy for the next 8 hours to step on stage for 30 seconds and flex. Right, so like to me at that point, it was like I wanted to get the trophy, I wanted to complete the objective, and for me, I'm very goal oriented, right? But like for you, you wanted to win that competition. Now I want to do a high rocks competition and win. Like the goals have completely changed, because I want to do a full body exercise and really test my endurance and push myself.
You said high rocks? What's that one?
Yeah, so high rocks is, think about like, you know what ergs are? Where you you take that thing and you go like this, and then you pull, you have like a rower, and then you have like a bike, the assault bike. Yep. So you do all of these things, but you do an exercise with running incorporated, and then go back to the exercise and you do 10 rounds of that.
Dude, what are we talking about? It's so intense. Holy cow. Okay, so I have one more question on this before we move on. But everyone listening, watching, here's why I wanted to hang here for a second, because number one, you were in like elite shape, and there's definitely parts of at least kind of diving into your world that how those translated into business for you in building business. And the good news is, any goal that anyone listening, watching has, that's our opportunity. Every goal, every path will have its own obstacles and challenges. And maybe, how I rephrase it, and Clint might be with me on this one, have a feeling. Those are really they're not obstacles, but they're opportunities that are revealing to us we have the opportunity to level up, learn more, be more, become more type of thing to really blast through. Clint is even better at doing it than I thought before starting this interview, because you're already on to the next thing. I already forgot the name. What was the name of the thing?
Nexus?
No, your events, but
Oh,
no,
High
like
Rocks. High Rocks. Yeah, High
High
Rocks.
Rocks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like learning about ultra runners that run, 50, 100 plus miles. And then there's High Rock. There's all these challenges that I'm learning about. So that's what you got your scopes on next. But so you're in really good shape, and burnout's there. You're doing all different types of treatments just to get through the day. But it sounded like those ultimately didn't work. Your journey there wasn't completed. You had to go further down. What happened after that?
Dude, I actually hired coaches. I hired a coach that told me to eat 4 ounces of pineapple and 4 ounces of chicken twice a day, and I was going to be able to heal my body. Like,
Okay.
I would do anything I possibly could just to be able to hopefully be able to feel the way that I needed to. But what I didn't realize that nobody could help me at that point. There's nobody that could tell me anything. I had to make a change within me. What I didn't do is I stopped all the healthy habits that I had before, right? So I would order Netflix and watch Netflix all day long and order Uber Eats, and I had a Call of Duty that was on my desk. I ordered Amazon, I got the nice headphones. I could hear everything. I could hear the footsteps. I played Call of Duty all night long, all day long, because I knew that they couldn't see me, but I could still talk to somebody. Right. So I still had that communication. I still had that interaction because I'm a very relationship based. I needed connection, but I didn't want that connection anywhere else because I didn't want to tell anybody else I failed. I was ashamed of myself.
Because your body was failing, then business started following suit, and you were struggling.
Yeah, the biggest question people ask, like, dude, what's going on with Limitless? Dude, I haven't seen you post. What's going on? Where are you? Like, what are you? Is everything okay? And the last thing I wanted to do was say, no, I'm not okay.
Admit it.
Yeah.
So you're still in that spot.
That is why the content that I make now is all about being, hey, it's okay not to be okay. Because men have to realize that, guys, like, we have a hard life. Women have a hard life. Like, life is hard in general.
Yeah.
But if we can just admit that and stop and drop our ego, you're going to go so much farther because people want to help you. But they're not going to be able to help you unless you actually say something. They can't read your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you say that. As you're saying that, there's a phrase that I hold close to my chest, but I'll drop it here. I've shared this with my best friend I've known my entire life. I've shared this with my wife. I've shared this. We just celebrated 10 years last year, and I've shared this with any business partner I've gone into business with, and it's this. It's know that I want to know, and if I don't know, there's nothing I can do about it. And, as you're saying that phrase is coming to mind because it's just that statement of, hey, like, know that I care, like, know that I want to be there. And I do want to know, but I can't read your mind. And so, please, give me the honor of sharing. And the promise is I won't bite your head off, despite how hard it is. And please don't abuse that and communicate with honesty and respect, and don't just destroy me. Anyway, it's something that has served me and those around me well over life. And what you're saying is, like, it's okay to not be okay. And, to reach out and communicate is possibly a first step, if not a powerful thing to do.
I love that. And also admitting that you're wrong. Like, it's okay to be wrong. Like, you don't always have to be right. To me, I always had to be right. Nobody can prove me wrong. But as a leader, as you get into a leadership position, you need to acknowledge your wrongs, because that's how you're going to grow, and that's how you're going to show up as a better leader. Because what I learned was that I was not always right in every situation, and I always try to prove myself to somebody, and that credibility then dropped in my life, and those people weren't in my life anymore because I wasn't credible.
Got it. So you see that now. But let's flip back to Call of Duty. You're heavy in session. Uber Eats is, you're like, hey, what's up, Jeff? Like, thanks for the night. Like, you're best friends with the Uber Eats guy or girl or whoever. And you don't know that yet. So when does that start becoming clear to you?
Oh, man. 14 months down the road, where I had the option to go on a road trip across the US, and one of my best friends came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm leaving. I just got out of this really shitty relationship, and you're in a really crappy place right now. And I've been knocking on your door for 14 months trying to get you out of your room and trying to get you to do
So you had
something
people
with your
reaching
life."
out.
Oh, dude, I remember I didn't answer somebody for 2 days. Somebody thought I was dead. And you got to understand too, like I went to a psychiatric VA for 5 days because I had 150 pills in front of me. I was about to take them and end my life.
Wow.
And that was the point where I should have realized that I had a problem. But, I guess what? I came back. I was in my own little safe corner, shut my door, turned on my Call of Duty, and here we go.
It's crazy how easy it is to like feel this or just like disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to say never, but like at least almost never, like the better idea or the best idea to disappear, isolate, especially when you're hurting the most.
Yeah. Because what am I going to do? Go on social media and people are going to see that I'm inflamed, and then they're going to ask questions. They'll be like, "Oh, Clint, what's going on with your face?" Or, "Oh, what are you going through?" Or, "How can I help you?" Like, no, I don't want any help. I don't want anybody to know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
So, I mean, this is compiling, right? You're going pills, medicine, and I've heard, this is actually, you might find this funny. I heard a Shia LaBeouf interview. This was
I
probably,
did too. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
and he was talking about rock bottom.
Yeah.
And he's like, rock bottom isn't when it's all the worst. Rock bottom is actually when you start the incline.
Yeah.
And because that's when you finally start to see and recognize and admit and accept where you're at, and that you want to go a different direction. You course correct. So where was your course correct rock bottom in this journey?
So what I tell everybody is like, when you have a setback, don't take a step back. Get ready for the comeback.
Ooh,
Right. So
write that down, somebody. That was so good.
when we go through certain things in our life, trials, tribulations, failures, whatever that looks like to you, we can either look at them as challenges to opportunity, like you said before, or we can sulk in it. And what I had to realize that I just went through 14 months of this. I'm about to change my environment. I'm going on a road trip. Getting out of depression is the hardest thing you're going to do, because you need to actually step into a new person. You have to be uncomfortable when you were in a comfortable state. So for me, I had to do compounding habits that were so small but were big wins to me, right? So I needed to put my shoes on. I needed to go take a shower. I need to brush my teeth. I needed to actually step out the door and go for a walk, even though it's 5 minutes. Maybe it's 10 minutes. And when I was able to compound those habits, I was able to slowly start going back to the gym. And going to the gym sucked, guys. Like, I was the weakest I've ever been. I used to lift 315 on the incline. Now I can only do 135 for 3 reps.
Wow.
Right? So the mental mind fuck, I guess you could say, that I went through was I was always thinking of the past. I was like, man, I used to be here, but why am I here now? Instead of focusing on the present, because if you didn't know, past is depression, anxiety is the future, right? So what we need to do is focus on the present moment. Because if we can focus on the present moment and understand that gratitude is going to be your biggest factor in life. I'm grateful for waking up today. Grateful for being able to have another day to push forward and be the most elite version of yourself. Even if you're not where you need to be or want to be, you can still have the next steps to push yourself. So that's what I had to do. I had to start doing those compounding habits every day. And one compounded onto another, into another.
I mean, that's so big. If like, people listening, watching are, oh, but I've tried. It's the new year. I've done the diet and then it always falls off, or I've tried the new workout routine and it falls off. And what I hear you saying is, or maybe it's in their business, maybe it's in relationships. I tried, going on more date nights, or like whatever the thing you've started and stopped. What I hear you saying is maybe when you did that before, you went too big too fast. And what wasn't respected was, I walked for 5 minutes today. That used to be nothing, but today that's a win. And that's the reality of where it's at, and that's okay. Let's go from there. That's kind of what I hear. I hear you saying the small steps are okay.
Yeah, small steps are big wins. small hinges open up big doors of opportunity.
That's good.
So if we can just think about, what do I need to do today to get me to the point of where I want to be? Right. So if you want to lose 50 pounds, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to go to the gym 7 days a week. You're not going to be able to work out. You're not going to be able to do 75 hard. You're not going to be able to push yourself to the limit if you're at that point where you're just overweight and you need to lose that weight. But we can celebrate wins every day to reach that goal. Right. So what do we have to do today to mark off all those wins, complete the day, and then we go to the next day? Right. So we know maybe we got to go to the gym. Maybe we have to go for a walk. We have to follow our nutrition. Like, compounding habits, compounding wins.
I'm just saying, people can go on Instagram and check out Clint_Riggin and get some of this fire all the time. Thank you for listening and watching, Clint here right now, but it doesn't have to be hello and goodbye. It can be, let's hang out. Go to, Instagram, Clint, it's right there on the little ticker, Clint_Riggin. Go check him out. You can tell this guy's fire. Like, so good, dude. I'm taking,
appreciate you.
I just wrote down, I'm looking down here, taking notes. Small hinges open big doors. Let's go. That's so money on top of multiple.
Everything that I've said or I've learned from my mentors, right? It's learned from conferences or people that I've heard. Like Nick Long said that in a conference one time, and he told me about interpersonal value and enterprise value, how you got to build your personal brand before you build your business brand. Because he said, I don't care, like, I'm going to help you exit your company, but if you're worth 25 million, but your intrapersonal value is worth 1 million, then it doesn't matter to me because you have no discipline in your life. Like, people have to understand that the business is not the only thing that matters in your life.
Yeah.
The person is what matters. And if you're a giving person, if you can give value to people, the reason I do Whiteboard Wednesdays, the reason that I go live, the reason that I post 5 reels a day is because I can give you guys value, so I can push value to you, and I want nothing from you. Because what I've learned is monetary value does not matter so much in this world. What matters is purposeful action and be able to know that you love yourself at the end of the day. You can put your head down on a pillow and say, you know what? I gave it my all today. I put everything out there. I got on 3 podcasts. I told my story. Hopefully I can help impact just that one person.
Dude, is the best content, this is my opinion, the best content creators are the ones that view it and approach it as contribution.
Yeah.
That you're showing up every day like, I'm here to just give, and that's why they're creating. It's not, well, here's the framework, and then here's what I have to fulfill so that I have more attention, so I have more distribution. It's like, nah, you've already like, that ain't gonna work. They never last, but the ones that are like, here's my experiences, I'm gonna bare my soul and put it all on the line and contribute as much as I possibly can, they crush. So this is the Clint equation's slowly starting to make a little bit more sense to me. I'm not shocked that you approach it that way. And dude, it's so good. Dude, this also came to mind. I just recently got this shirt at some event that I was at. To what you're saying, it was a Jim Rohn quote, and I'm gonna botch it a little bit, but everyone's gonna get the principle, and it's gonna be awesome. And it was something like, success is not something that you earn or acquire. Success is something that you like you attract by the person that you become.
Yeah. So like, a lot of people are looking for the people that they want in their life, but they're not that person that they need to become first.
Yeah.
Right. So a law of attraction works like this: as you become and you step into that person, you got to understand that God planted a seed in you when you were born. And when God planted that seed, he wants you to do great things in this world. But you are slapping God in the face every time that you do something in the direction of not what would Jesus do. And you know exactly what that is. Like, if you go to Starbucks and you have a Americano, or you have a caramel macchiato that has 96 grams of sugar, but you have one that's 5 calories, and you're trying to lose weight, you know what the right decision is, but you still don't complete it.
Yeah.
Because nobody's telling you what to do. But you see, if you paid somebody $5,000 or $10,000 a month, I guarantee you would do it. Because people pay attention. Yeah. Right. So it's all about, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Like, how bad do you really want it? Because when I get on calls with clients, like, you don't want this bad enough. You didn't even complete the one homework assignment I gave you last week.
Yeah.
Your marriage is going to fail because you haven't even taken the next step. And you just have to be real with people.
Yeah. It's true. It helps them and gives them space to maybe even for the first time be real with themselves. To like know what it sounds like, what it feels like, and you're like, shoot, you're right. Like I'm not making the right choices, and like, experience that for the first time. Or maybe they know and it's the timely time. They need to feel it again.
The best thing you can do is a self-reflection. The best thing you can do is stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself. And look at yourself for 3 to 5 minutes.
Ooh,
And ask yourself, are you the person that you want to be? Like, envision the person that you want to be.
that's
Because
interesting, man. I don't think I've ever looked at myself for 3 to 5 minutes in the mirror straight.
I did this exercise at a leadership conference. I had to look at this man in the eyes for 5 minutes. And have you ever looked at somebody in the eyes for 5 minutes? That's
Not that I can remember.
thoughts that are going through your head, the things that you're thinking, like, oh, what is this guy thinking about me? Oh, what and then
Interesting.
you start to talk about emotional things. You start to bring up different things in your life, and you start to open up to this man, and you're vulnerable for the first time in your life. And I saw 30 men, grown men, cry
Wow.
in front of me.
That's crazy, man. So, I mean, when you look into someone's eyes, it's like almost looking at their soul. I don't know. It's like you get a totally different connection. So it sounds like it sparked a lot of emotion in that room. So you like, what happened on the trip?
Oh, well, first thing I did when I went on this trip, I made a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And in that plan, it was, okay, what am I going to do every day? And the number one thing on there was I was going to read the Bible.
Okay.
I was going to pray, give thanks, and give praise. And I started to follow something called the Cost of Greatness, and I follow it every single morning.
Sweet.
It's faith, family, fitness, focus, and finance.
Let's go.
In the faith category, I give thanks and praise for everything that I have in this world. I meditate and I journal. I journal about what I just gave thanks and praise for. So I write it down. Tony Robbins says if you write it down, you're going to retain it 90% of the time. Now, when it comes to family, I reach out to 5 people every single morning. I say, hey, name, I don't want anything from you. I hope you succeed. Please let me know if you need anything. That's it. I reach out to 1 family member every single morning. I say, hey, just want to say I love you. You never know when that family member is not going to be there. My dad passed away 6 years ago. There's one thing I wish I could do every morning. Is just say I love you to him. Now, fitness. Follow a fitness plan. Do yoga. Do something for 45 minutes. Again, if you're not at that point, go for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just start moving your body. Follow a nutrition plan. For me, we were on the road, so we had a rice cooker. We ate rice all the time, Costco chicken. We just put things together. Then when it came to focus, like the biggest thing to help me out is time blocking my day. And I live by my calendar. I mean, I know exactly when I'm going to wake up. I know exactly when my morning devotional is. I know exactly when I'm going to the gym. I know I don't have any blocks in my day that are free because I'm working on myself every day. But those blocks might be, hey, Clint, you're going to take 30-minute break. But it says 30-minute break. Right? So I know, hey, that's my 30-minute break time. That's not me 30 minutes going on social media, scrolling on Instagram and scrolling on TikTok so I can just waste my time away. That's me perpetually learning, getting knowledge, listening to a podcast, like always learning, always getting knowledge. Because when you get more knowledge, you provide more knowledge to the marketplace, you become more valuable.
100%.
Next thing, when it comes to finance, declare how you're going to make money and make it happen. Is that 10 phone calls? Is that 10 messages? Is that a new offer you're launching? Do you have an email list, a text message list? What does that look like for you? And you do all of that by 8 a.m. And it's 10 different tasks that you do by 8 a.m. And I promise you, if you do this, your life will improve. But you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
This is not something that you can do a New Year's resolution that 9% of people complete every single year. And then the 80% fall out after 2 weeks.
Dang.
You know why? Because there's a story in our head, and the story tells us that we can't do something. And we have this belief that we have about ourselves, which creates no action, which creates no result in our life. Because with that belief, if you don't believe in yourself, you'll never believe. So you have to change the story to change your life.
Yeah. So, dude, let's go, man. So much fire today. This is going a fun direction. So you just gave the foundation, the step-by-step building blocks on how you started that, what probably felt like a freaking mountain that you had to climb back up and make that recovery. As you did that, I think 2 things make sense right now. One, if you could share with us what you rebuild. So like, what do you got going on right now? And
Yep.
then, where do we go to learn a little bit more about that? So what did you end up rebuilding?
So a big thing for me is I used to live in San Diego, right? But I used to live in San Diego and work in the club scene, promoter, and I was just in the wrong crowds, right? I was going
Mm,
to all the after parties. I was doing copious amounts of cocaine, drinking a lot of alcohol, and doing nothing with my life. So I came back to San Diego as a reformed man. I got baptized.
mm,
I got baptized. God gave me the vision for Nexus. Now we run the largest wellness events in San Diego. We
wow.
partner with gyms, yoga studios, Pilates studios. We partner with this mom's walk where you can bring your mom. I mean, not bring your mom. Sorry, bring your kid,
Yeah.
and the moms and the kids come together and do yoga. And then we have baby stands that are around with vendors and sponsors. We have a self defense class for UFC that we're launching. Like different things to build community.
Yeah.
All I want to do is bring people together because after COVID, everybody split apart.
Yeah.
Everybody does their own thing. And what I realized is there's a bunch of gyms, there's a bunch of places here, but they're all struggling because they don't know how to market themselves. So a big thing that I want to do is I partner with gyms and I partner with these places and I say, hey, listen, if my members can say Nexus at the door, can you give them a free class, maybe 2 free classes, so they can try out your establishment? Because I promise you, if they try it out first, not just a 20% off, but if they try it,
Yeah.
they'll probably sign up if they enjoy it that much. So you have to give them that option. The next thing I run 8 masterminds in Cancun for high ticket coaches and consultants. So we do your whole ticket, your whole offer creation, everything that you need. We film your content. We have a whole creator team that comes there, and you spend 8 days all inclusive stay in Cancun with $1,500 rewards, 2 massages. You can get your nails done, manicures, pedicures. Like
Oh, dang.
you have 3 full days where you can do whatever you want. We have private dinners every single night, and then I coach. Go ahead.
Clint, if we can hang there just for a second,
Yeah.
there's a couple things I'm hearing when you said the master. Usually it takes us, when I say us, like, let's be honest, like different business owners, yeah, but 3 months, 4 months of like, no, I got to get my offer together. I got to get the email campaign. What's my brand? Here's my social all dialed in. Am I doing paid ads? What's the webinar or video sales letter, VSLs? It takes over a period of time. You're saying in 8 days, hyper focus, put that all together while we're being pampered, like good
And we shoot
dinners and a spot.
all your content for you, which is one of the biggest things that you need, right? So
Yeah.
there's going to be 2 different offers that come from that. So like you can either do like speaker reels and you want to get on stage, or
Mm,
you want to actually launch your offer for like a high ticket coach.
yeah.
So for us, it's like you need the content creation piece. You need the offer, you need the sales letter, you need the website, you need the funnels, you need how you're going to get in front of people. You need Instagram. You need to figure out who your audience is, your avatar, who you're trying to sell to. Like there's so many different areas, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
a lot of coaches come into this and they're just like, I want to be a coach. Like, why do you want to be a coach? What experience do you have? What have you
Yeah.
been through? Coaches need to understand that the person you're trying to help is the person you used to be most of the time
Yeah.
because you've learned, you've grown, you've shed those old versions of yourself, and you have that new version of yourself.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to help that person so much more.
100%.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited. March 3rd through the 10th is our first one. And then I coach high-level CEOs and executives on those 5 pillars: faith, family, fitness, focus, finance. And the biggest thing with me is my connections and my relationships that I can connect you with anybody that you need to. And they run pretty deep. And that's the value that comes into it. Yes, you're going to get coached by me. Yes, you're going to come for a 2-day immersion to Coronado. You're going to stay in my place. We're going to go work out on the beach. You're going to get your ass beat. But we're going to break you down and we're going to build you up.
Yeah. Sweet, man. So I heard events. I heard putting together, like your whole business offer, marketing plan, content. In 8 days, hyper focused. You leave with it completed, and then
Yep.
even one-on-one executive coaching, where you live in like that next level life, and you just help others accomplish it. You've been there. You lost it all, broke down, and then rebuilt it back. Now, all these things going on at once. You don't do this alone. How big is the team?
Well, I have a full executive team for Nexus, right? So I have a CEO, a CMO, and an event director. I do all my sponsorships and I do all of my collaborations. I'm the relationship builder. I
Yep.
make all the partnerships with all the restaurant brands, everybody I speak to, right? Because A lot of the time they want to speak to the founder, but most of the time I'll put my CEO on a call, and then if they need to speak to me, then because I learned what delegation was.
Yeah.
I didn't have delegation in my first business. I would get on calls with everyone. When my CEO sat me down and said, Clint, this is how we're going to run this. I've never had somebody say that to me before.
Sounds like a good CEO.
She said, you're not going to get on a call with this candle maker that wants to run a candle event. And I was like, oh, why? But she's like, because it doesn't follow our mission. Because I'm too nice. Like, I just want to help everybody.
Yeah.
But there's certain parameters that I had to understand. Like, okay, listen, Clint, if you want to do this, then you need to have these set in place. So that's one big thing. Now, my mentor, Obama Bowen, he was a Marine vet. And his whole team facilitates the 8 masterminds at Cancun. He's been doing this for 12 years. So he has everything built out, ready to go. He runs something called I think it's called the Millionaire Mastermind, partnered with the Limitless. So I don't do this on my own.
Yeah.
I leverage relationships that I have to build faster. And that's what people have to understand. There's 4 L's that you need to learn. You need to learn it, you need to live it, you need to lead it, and you need to leverage it. And if you can do that, you're going to be very successful. But a lot of people stop at the learn it portion. If you think about it, when people go to masterminds, they go to conferences, what do? They learned a bunch of information, but then they get back and they take no action.
Yeah.
So they have nothing to lead. And then they don't lead anything. They have nothing to leverage.
100%, dude. So good. That's so good. And you said that 4, learn, live it,
lead it, leverage it.
Yeah. And so I wanted, you're mentioning a lot of things, and anyone listening, watching, I'm like, all right, I know enough to know that one man, one woman does not accomplish all those things. And it doesn't happen overnight. Again, those small steps, it's not linear growth, it's exponential growth, because momentum and progress are powerful things. So it's cool to see the momentum and progress that you've ramped up and you've built, and you have community and you have team around you to keep the vision going and protect you from burnout. And
this is the one thing I realized too, is burnout is due to losing your purpose, right? When you lose your purpose, that is when you hit burnout. You see, I wake up at 2:00 every single morning. I don't wake up with an alarm clock. I do a morning devotion through TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook every single morning for 12 to 15 minutes. So the normal person wakes up, I would say, about 7 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock,
That's
all depending on work, right?
So I have it's definitely not 2 a.m.
So I have an extra 4 hours on anybody during the day, right? So if I multiply that, that's 20 hours a week. That's 80 hours a month.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I have an extra 4 or 5 days. Ultimately, I have another 60 days. Ultimately, I have another 2 months. So that's how I look at it when people say, hey, how did you do this so fast? Well, it's because I wake up early, and what's done in the dark is revealed in the light. Now, I'm not going to always have to do this. I know that. But when you're building a business, you're going to have to dedicate some time to get stuff done.
Yeah. That pattern is so huge. Seen this, you mentioned Christ earlier in the conversation, and despite anyone listening, watching, worldview or belief, if you read the red text, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you get into, study one of the best leaders, one of the best marketers, one of the best salespeople that started a campaign over 2,000 years ago that's still being talked about, number 1 seller, like not only on Amazon, but like in every list ever, right? So know Christ, love the guy, hate the guy. Here's the deal. He's a great leader, great at sales, great at marketing. And I don't want to lose the thought the retreat pattern. We see this pattern of him kind of retreating, early mornings or getting away for who knows how long, certainly not less than 3 or 4 hour gaps of just having that time to like work and think and build. Like that's where like the real work is. And if we fast forward, Tony Robbins or, Ed Milet or, different, more like influencers of this time, I think there's a book called Deep Work. So, Clint, these are things that you're describing. So as you're hearing yet another person, Clint, describing this, this is a pattern that the best of the best do. Now, the good news is you don't have to get up at 2 a.m. If my people are struggling there. Maybe you need to do it on the other end of the clock. My night owl is out there. I'm more in the early morning thing. Not gonna lie, 2 a.m. haven't hit that one yet, but I find myself, like you said, waking up naturally at like between 3:30 to like 5 a.m. And I get that extra time, and it's such a powerful time that you're describing, man. Hey, before I ask the last question, people like catching this fire and leaning in. Yeah. Yes, they can go to Instagram, but you have a website. Where else can they go to learn more?
Yeah, clintreagan.com, and I think you can pull it up here.
Yeah,
I'll show you guys a little bit. So if you click this video, which is on the top, so if you scroll down a little bit. This is my contact card. If anybody wants this contact card, it's really cool that you can have all of this on here. You can put your own video.
Don't forget that you are on a mission.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I pushed play.
No, you're good.
Yeah, go for it.
And you can push the video.
Okay.
It's just a little motivational video that you're gonna see.
Okay. I think it was playing in my headphones, so if I play it, I'm gonna be completely distracted.
Oh no, yeah, you're good. So that's a motivational video. If you go down, you're gonna be able to see where you can book a call with me. You're also gonna see my podcast, and then you can also add me as a contact there as well. My Instagram, my Facebook, my LinkedIn is there, and then you keep going down. There's my calendar, QR code, etc. And
nice.
Yeah, you guys can connect with me anytime you want. I'll answer all my texts and I'll answer all my DMs. I do have an AI bot that runs on my Instagram and on our Nexus Instagram. We'll send you a message following up with you, but then I'll send you a message after that.
If you want to talk to AI Clint, go send him a message on Instagram. That's cool, man. You got some bots set up. This is great. Very, very approachable, easy to connect with them. So clintreagan.com is where you can go. Hey, before we conclude today, Clint, something that this is a personal interest that I like to ask people. And this goes for musicians, actors, athletes, entrepreneurs, people that are creating, people that are putting themselves out there and contributing and building something in the world is an insanely vulnerable place. You will face rejection. You will get shot down. It's inevitable. And so the people that not only do it, but the people like yourself that continue to do it over and over and even push further down that road intrigue me. Yeah. Why are you that person, and why do you live that type of life?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. From the time I was 0 to 7, I was never seen by my father. He was an alcoholic. And my whole goal is for everybody else to be seen, right? And I didn't learn that until recently when I discovered childhood trauma and the things that I went through. But all I want to do is hopefully unlock a little belief inside of you that you can do anything in this world, and your past doesn't define your future. And if you've been through addiction doesn't define you, and you can turn any pain into purpose. But you have to stop living in the past and stop replaying the story in your head every single day that you can do something. And I promise you, once you change that story and you unlock that belief, there is nothing that will stop you. Truly, there is nothing.
So powerful, man. Really appreciate you coming on and sharing just who you are, man, and your heart and your drive.
Chris, I appreciate you. What you've built is absolutely incredible. Keep going. Let me know how I can support you in any way. I'll have you on the podcast as well. I'll send you a link after this. And God bless you.
Let's do it, man. Hey, and everyone listening, watching, we appreciate you and value your time as well and attention. Today was a fire episode, a lot of power in here. And so, one of the big takeaways, it's not so much, what we're building, but who we're becoming in the process. And some of the, Clint shared multiple frameworks, the 4 L's and like the 5 areas of life. This is definitely one to rewatch and to dive in and into Clint's world and learn on becoming the best version of yourself, because we will never grow beyond our current capacities and limitations. But the good news is that can be expanded. So when we get to talk to other real entrepreneurs that are getting real results, we get to take a step forward. So appreciate you guys and excited to share more content like this on the next one. Take care.